Gemini. I already shuffled the cards and laid them out to save some time. I'm using a Celtic 10 card spread to look at past, present, and future influences for the week. And as always, I'll be going through each card so you can learn about the tarot. And so you can start to build your own relationship intuitively with the cards as well, because that's what this channel is all about, is getting the betterment out of tarot, okay? And spreading the word about tarot too as well, okay? And also too, I want you to spread the word about yourself a little bit in that internal dialogue of that brain and spirit where you are beating yourself up relentlessly with the ideal of perfection, that you can't handle certain aspects of like maybe business or legalities or justice stuff. That's a reflection of that crossing card there. And also too, you're beating yourself up as a mom, a caregiver, a nurturer, wherever you're kind of outflowing that energy of nurturing and kind of spiritual and emotional kind of growth for others, helping them along. I want you to kind of give you that nurturing ability to yourself this week, because things are really happening and really happening in a good way, and you're starting to find your footing again in a new direction. So I don't want you to undermine yourself with negativity, or not, most importantly, not believing in your power, because there's been a lot of power that's been built over you, up in you in the last several years, a couple of decades really, and there's been a big major change in who you are, and I want you to be able to apply it wherever you feel that's necessary for your betterment. Let's just get into why I'm saying it. That first card placement is a significator. The general gist of the overall reading, the Seven of Cups, is a contemplation meditation of new moves in the area of the heart. And because it's sitting on top of the crossing card, which is blocking that energy from moving on, is justice. And justice has several kind of shades of her personality. One, she's great for legalities, business, and contracts. So if you're feeling like you, and also too, divorce and marriage would fall under this domain, especially with the Seven of Cups. If those of you that are not able to move on because you're still in litigation, still dealing with the after effects of a divorce or any kind of arrangements or contracts, including partnerships and business as well, would fall under that domain. All right, just keep on going, stay the course, because things are working out in your favor, and you're smart enough also to, and you have the strength enough, the cards say, to handle anything as you move forward. Okay, I feel like this is a temporary blip in the overall kind of direction of where you're going, and it's just kind of like an after effect of residual. And also I'll say this, just because it's that crossing on the divorce marriage stuff, how other people look at you, or even a partnership or friendship would fall under this category, anywhere that there's a separation, right? Because the way that other people look at you in that eighth card position, it's a Two of Cups. Let's say people are pinging you or plucking your nerve or trying to just aggravate you or even bring you through more litigation or whatever. It's because they look at you as someone being happy. Okay, that someone that maybe has fallen in love with someone else, or falling in love with new friends, which would be an indicator too, at the sixth position of what's happening now. Finding your own kind of tribe, your crew, your family that's not blood, people that can really support emotionally and spiritually to you, even financially as well. I would fall into this domain. So don't get discouraged in any way, shape, or form. And I'll also say this with justice. We could want our justice because it's falling under that Seven of Cups, like something might have happened where, like even a divorce or friendship, like I said, something happened where you want to get kind of that revenge. That's not your domain, Gemini. That's God in the universe, and believe me, karma always gets delivered. And I'll also say this with justice, we can have a reflection of our own kind of karma, our own actions, bringing us to certain situations of the present day, right? But the cards also say that you have really good people around you that you can trust, even if there's been a disenfranchise from the past of other people in situations that definitely needed to go by the wayside because it grew you in a different way that you never even knew you were capable of. And that's what I don't want you to kind of get underfoot right now, because there's so much good and there's so much confidence and self-esteem that's been built up in you, and you're really digging it. But something happened that triggered you to kind of like doubt yourself, and I don't want you to at all, okay? Because let's say, like, okay, the crossing card, whatever way she is, flip her on her side, deal with it. Just know that it's in your favor. That's the Seven of Cups. No matter what, you're at the crossroads stage of the heart. So whether it's today, tomorrow, or 2 years from now, it's still going to be the same reflection, because something's making you pause to say this is not right. And what the card wants to say in the seventh card position of how you're feeling about yourself is the Strength card. It's a major arcana card. It's so it's a life lesson card, right? But the thing about the Strength card, it says to me in my readings, for me, it says that you've already earned the accolades of the Strength card. In modern day tarot, it's I can handle anything. I can take care of this responsibility, this obligation, and look for that potential and opportunity, right? And that's all fine and dandy as long as we're keeping everything organized, especially in our mindset and in balance with our heart and our spirit, right? Along with our intellect. And the Strength card says, take it a step further into the ancient tarot. I'm living with the lion. I'm overcoming ego, pride, anger, rage, those animal instincts in us. I've overcome that, so I have mastery of thought. Because Gemini, because you've got two of you, you're like on fire, all pistons all the time with that brain set. And now you've learned how to harness that. Also, mostly harness it too, especially if you had people in situations that really just left you with a distasteful taste in your mouth. It was all part of your growth to build you into that kind of the queen that we're going to see in the past reflection, and also teach you how to overcome that kind of instinct to snap out or let anger or say things. Again, anything that's in our thoughts is going to come out our actions and our words and our attitude and our approaches. We're the only ones that are drinking that poison of the day. And that's what this card says, that you have mastered that. So buy into that. Anywhere you're not feeling like the groovy vibe of other people, just let it go, okay? Because I can see this is really interesting too, because justice is also in the swords domain. And because we have the 10th card placement and the outcome card, I have the Queen of Swords, her like younger sister, and both have a reflection, but this, especially for the Queen, that's why I was saying don't beat yourself up, because the Queen of Swords is the ideal of perfection. I only want to use logic, intellect, strategy. I don't want to deal with intuition. I'm pouring out emotion in that jug, right? It's the ideal of perfection. And 9 times out of 10, she's always aiming that sword at our heart and our head. And nobody can achieve those kind of whispers that she puts in our ears about how we need to do things, or how we need to accomplish, or how we have to love, or what our next steps should be. So kind of kick her to the curb. But I'll also say this in her exalted state, she's great for law and contracts and justice as well. She could come to decision making without emotion. You could have feeling in situations, but you don't have to have emotion, especially in business scenarios. I feel like there's no place for emotion. So distance yourself from that kind of conflict, so you could come to a rational and kind of balanced decision for yourself, because something's shifting here and you're thinking about what that shift is. So I want you to help you along, because it's inside you. That's where the answer is. And God's validating that as well in the 3rd card placement. I like to say God's placement on how to navigate the week. And kudos to you here, Gemini. 4 of Swords is the firm foundation to build upon your thoughts. It comes after the 3 of Swords. You might have seen it in many decks with the heart with the 3 swords pierced through it. It's literally killing off authority, the way that we have to be with stereotypical and our typical ways that we have to be with family and community, putting up that facade. And that's a Gemini thing too. You guys are more entertainers than any other zodiac sign, but a lot of you could put up that happy face when there's an internal kind of conflict and chaos going on. And that's what I think is happening right now this week. And I want you to believe into the happy facade and buy into it, because the cards are validating that. But it's only kind of like I said, something triggered it to you to have a little doubt this week. And I don't want you to, because the validation is the 4 of Swords. You're like a potter. I got the table, I got the clay. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but in your 4 hands, Gemini, I know it's going to be something creative and fantastic. And what the cards also say, you have some experience and wisdom and know-how about you. You have a real tool set of skills. So don't undermine you. And that's what is the 4 is saying. Let's validate what is important for us, our betterment, out of that tough fight for who we are. Right? So don't let it go to waste. You paid the big battle to get you where you are. That's the ancient tarot's interpretation for the 4. It's again a pat on the back for who you are and your identity and how you want to live your life. So just buy into that, because in the 4th position, this is why I'm so plucked about everything. And I don't want you to undermine yourself or trip yourself up. The 4th position to me is the base of the matter in the 10 card spread. It's a gut feeling, I like to say. And it's the 9 of Swords. So a lot of thinking, a lot of strategy, a lot of logic, analytical thinking, trying to balance out stuff, to even balance out yourself, right? Getting your footing, all that kind of stuff. And the 9 is the nightmare card in tarot, but the nightmare's in our own head. We are the one that is generating it. So, and it might again be triggered because of past stuff, or stuff that you're going through with justice right now, or past reflections are on our own actions, or not in our ability to believe in the justice, like our law and the contracts and business, like know-how. No, I'm not going to buy into it, Gemini. You could research, or what the cards say in the 6 card placement of what's happening right now. You have really good friends around you. You have kindred spirits that you could call upon to kind of share stories and outlooks and know-how. Again, like, be each other's mentors and build something for tomorrow. And it also gives you pause to take that moment to pat yourself on the back and acknowledge how much you've been through in these areas, right? So let's untangle the 9 of Swords, because it's killing you really internally. And that's kind of what's driving the car, even though every other aspect of your life is screaming, no, it's all good. Let's go forward. Let's make those changes where we need to. Let's keep going, right? Let's see that joy and adventure that's in the next chapter. But you're putting on you're putting on every brake. The emergency brake is screeched us to a halt. And no creativity gets done in the 9 of Swords. No love gets done, no heart. And that heart and love and that spirit has got to be aimed at you. You need the nurturing, just like I said with that Empress up there, okay? So cut the crap out of your mindset that you're not enough, or you can't do this, or you can't do that. I'm not buying it into Gemini, because I know too many Geminis that just are fantastic, and they'll learn anything and they'll do anything. No challenge is underneath them, right? Okay, so, or too high for them, whatever. So just go get this. And I'm going to validate it as well, because you were feeling this groovy energy in the 5th card placement of what's leaving your life. So the Queen of Pentacles, you are the Queen of Pentacles. You were grooving into the fact that you can make anything materialize in the material world, including the gold coin. And you clean up our stuff. We get to the royal leader by going through those tough trials and tribulations, good and bad, of the journey of the Pentacles. It's the material. A lot of people just refine it to our bodies, our health, and work. But I've learned after 40 years, it also affects our relationships, our home, our family. It's like the whole kit and caboodle, because everything is a kit and caboodle in the material world, especially with the emotional energy of Gemini. Because you love to pour out that of love and spirit. You love your givers. So, and you've had to learn some lessons. That's the journey of the Queen, but you're buying into it, and I really love it. And I'll also say this, during the journey of the Queen, you had to go by the wayside of certain people and situations, whether from your doing or others, always for our betterment. So I'm glad to see these cards of contemplation, meditation of next moves, believing in that firm foundation. And here's another indicator of that as well in the 6th card placement, which is happening right now. That's why I was kind of saying you've got good people around you, and most importantly, you've got the firm foundation. That's what the 4 represents in the area of the creative, the wands. But like I said, you also are coming together with kindred spirits, soul kind of spirited people that maybe not had the same exact journey, but came to the same exact kind of character conclusions, or the same kind of outlook in life and point of view. You find your, like I said, your little tribe, your little family, which is awesome. So again, if you have to have emotional, spiritual, even financial support through those kind of situations that you're navigating right now, because that would be an indicator of the 4 of Swords, just trust you and trust good advice, okay? You know who to rely on as well, okay? And rely on your own internal narrative as well, because that's a reflection of that self card in 7th. It's like really wonderful, because it's a real achievement in a life lesson. And I feel like tarot is all about mastery of thought. So that's the real indicator of that. So again, you have 2 brains, so it's not an easy task, pulling in different directions over the last couple of years, but you're kind of getting everything in balance again, and I'm loving that. And that would also be a reflection of that too. I'll say this, if you're feeling like you're really like chakra unbalanced, or emotionally, whatever, material not versus spirit, get yourself in balance, because that's what needs to happen for you to make these clear decisions, okay? And I'll also say it's no coincidence that the 4 of Swords is sitting on 7 of Cups. Logic, intuition, and heart, okay? It's got to be both here. And cut yourself some slack, like I said in the 9th card of hopes and fears. Let's say you're beating yourself up. Oh, I'm not a good mom, or I fear I'm going to lose my kids, or I'm not going to have a relationship here or there, or I'm not doing enough. Oh, no, Gemini. It's complete opposite of what this card is, okay? The Empress is in the exalted state. She's nurturing, she's loving, she's giving. She's like Mother Earth too. We all have our seasons, right? Sometimes we're spring and summer, and other times, watch out, here comes tundra winter. cold and can be emotionally distant. And it also could be a reflection of how people might have been to you as a mom or a friend or a caregiver. Again, it's that nurturing energy. So don't be afraid of it. Also, too, just with justice and everything, look at everything realistically. Everything's a life lesson. It's not the good stuff that makes us grow. It's the tough stuff and the hard stuff where we have to look at our own personalities and our identities. But the cards say you've done a really good job. So don't beat yourself up. That's my always reflection with the Empress. Cut yourself some slack. Good mama, good parent, good caregiver, good person. All right. And that's, again, a reflection that we all have. So go put out the seeds for your harvest. She reaps those rewards. So don't cut yourself off here, okay? Because you're beating yourself up. And I have to say it because, again, she's sitting right next to the Queen of Swords. And there's two cards that really could say, I'm beating myself up in that internal dialogue, that narrative inside my brain that affects my heart and my spirit. It's these two cards out of 78, and they're literally sitting next to each other. So if you were in front of me right now, Gemini, I would hit you, little tap you on the head, on both your heads, and say, snap out of it. Let's get back into the love and vibe. Let's get back onto decision making that's for our best, because I need that right now. I need that creative energy. I need that emotional loving for myself. So because your self-esteem just needs to get back, that needs a spiritual adjustment, right? It's there. It's saying it's there, but your cockamamie and whatever it is that's giving you that nightmare. So let's untangle it. While God in the universe is waiting in the bonus card, saying, let's go in a new direction for the material. And that may be what's scaring you a little bit too, because it can be scary with the night. We don't know where we're going, but I know I need to get out of wherever I am. That's part of the reflection of the night. But it's scary because he could sometimes feel impulsive or like, da, 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 da. But no, the night is there to help you. He says, hop on along. And it's further along in the page who goes around planting the seeds of tomorrow in the pentacles in the material world. The night says, let's go take that ride and see what's growing for our tomorrow harvest. When the Empress comes to view everything and said, it's time to, let's go get that wheat and let's take the chaff away from the wheat. That's a reflection of these cards. Your life has been the shaking of the wheat to get the chaff off so you can get to a new direction. So don't undermine yourself this week. It's really a fab week. Untangle that brain set so you can get to that creative energy and that logic thinking that you need to apply to everything. It's all good. I believe in you, and I know you believe in yourself too. So thanks for visiting the channel. And Geminis, everyone who's subscribed and liked and commented and just been supportive. I just can't, and watching. I just can't say thank you enough. It's been incredible. Thank you so much.